I discovered that those older people overcame their disappointment by doing three things. And we can overcome our disappointments if we do those three things. And what are those three things they did? First, they had a new dedication. Those people who returned from exile and captivity rebuilt the altar in order to offer sacrifices to God, in order to worship God in the right way. Ezra chapter 3 verse 11 says, all the people assembled in Jerusalem as one man. So they were in full unity. They were united in their dedication. And the first thing they did was rebuild the temple, rebuild the altar so that they could have a right relationship with God. The altar was the link between the people and God. Without the altar, there could be no proper worship. Without the altar, they could not offer sacrifices. Without the altar, they could not have the assurance of forgiveness. Without the altar, the burden of guilt could not be lifted. And without the altar, they could have no access to God. There are times when we also need to make a new beginning. When the circumstances of life seem hard, and when all hope seems to be gone, we need to make a fresh start. Often we wonder if God will take us back or He will turn us away. Jesus assures us by saying, he who comes to me, I will in no way cast out. So when we come to Jesus in penitence, He will accept us as we are. And if we yield to Him, He'll transform us. He'll make us new people. He'll give us a new heart and a new mind and a new life. So, first, they had a new dedication. Second, they had a new courage. They committed themselves to follow God and obey Him in all the details of life. They put faith ahead of their fears. Although they were surrounded by enemies, they continued building the new temple. In spite of the stiff opposition they met from their enemies, they continued their work. Those enemies harassed the temple builders and attacked them and did everything possible to stop their project. But nothing could deter those determined people. It takes courage to stand up against a hostile world that ridicules Christian beliefs. It takes courage to do what you know is right. In spite of the stiff opposition, the people of God banded together and had the work done. Motivational speaker John Maxwell says, the smallest act of courage is more important than the noblest intention. The smallest act of courage is more important than the noblest intention. Because if we don't act on our intentions, if we don't put our thoughts into action, then what's the use? What's the use of having a noble idea when you don't implement it? And third, those people had a new priority. after they laid the foundation for the new temple and built the altar, they praised the Lord. And this was a public praise, a united public praise. They praised the Lord, they sang hymns, they played their instruments, cymbals are mentioned, or I'm sure they used other musical instruments besides the cymbals. And they praised the Lord. They said, the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. Now, I'm struck by the fact that they didn't wait until the whole building project was completed. They praised the Lord when they laid the foundation, when there was still a lot of work left to be done. I know that laying the foundation was significant, but there was a lot of work still to be done. But they praised the Lord before waiting for the entire building to be completed. There's a lesson for us here. Don't wait to praise God until you attain your victory. Praise God when you are in the middle of conflict. Instead of reliving the past and remembering its sadness, let's look ahead to the future with all its unlimited possibilities. Don't adopt a passive resignation to the problems of life. If things are not what you wish they were, roll up your sleeves and go to work. Rough seas make great sailors, and from a tiny acorn, a mighty oak tree grows.